It is actually pretty absurd how good this gaming PC is, especially for a price of $1050 Australian or 700 USD. And I really don't think you can do much better than this PC or the parts we've assembled here. So let's take a look. Alright, let's talk about the CPU first, and for this rig we've gone with the AMD Ryzen 5 5500. Now this chip is definitely a few generations old now, but honestly it's one of the best budget CPUs that still meets the performance requirements for high FPS 1080p gaming. It doesn't have a massive core count, so it won't handle intensive content creation or productivity tasks, but when it comes to gaming it has an impressively focused punch. Overall, it is a solid mid-range gaming and productivity CPU. Now the board I dropped the CPU into was the ASUS Prime B550M-A Wi-Fi. It has plenty of USB ports, and for a gaming build like this, we don't need huge heatsinks. For the storage of this build, we've got a 1TB M.2 drive from Crucial, the P3 Plus. It is a great fast drive for gaming, resulting in speedy boot times and quickly loading up your games. It has compelling performance that doesn't really have any drawbacks, as it is still efficient and cool running. Now for the memory, we've gone with 16GB of black HyperX Fury DDR4 RAM. Of course, it's always great to have a 32GB kit, but 16 is still enough for gaming these days. The benefit of the 32 would really only be for editing like tasks. And the kit was 3200 speed, so this PC will respond instantly like a new PC should. For the cooler, we've got the AMD Wraith Stealth. Despite it being a stock cooler, this cooler changed the game. It actually delivers solid cooling performance, unlike many stock coolers in the past. And as well, with its all black look, it keeps this PC clean and stealthy. Now for the case, we've gone with the DarkFlash DLM22. This is a case we consistently use for more budget-oriented pre-built PCs. It's one of the few cases in the budget bracket that actually has a solid metal design and a glass front, where other chassis have plastic and thin metal. I've handled plenty of cases, and this has that solid feel, closer to a Lee & Lee type case than a basic budget chassis. Now I can screw in the power supply, a 550 watt FSP Hyper Pro. This is a solid amount of juice for this build, and FSP is reputable, so there's no worry of your power supply blowing up on you, and it will power this rig solidly for years. With the 3 RGB fans now installed, I can do some top-notch cable management, something we really pride ourselves on at Radium. For the GPU, we've got RPIC as the ideal graphics card for a 1080p focused gaming PC. It certainly isn't a revolutionary card. It's solid and reliable, but still certainly delivers serious FPS in all the modern AAA titles. And toward the end of this video, I'm going to run this PC with this card through the most popular game out at the moment, Black Myth Wukong, and some other popular titles to see exactly what kind of performance you can expect with this rig. In my opinion, this build looks really good, especially for an affordable PC, where normally you'd have to compromise on aesthetics. I think we've done well with the looks of this build. It isn't super over the top with RGB, but has enough design elements to stand out. Now I'm going to set the RGB for this rig, before we go through some FPS tests. The great thing about our builds is they're all plug and play, with things like XMP enabled and everything set up. The first title I'm testing this PC out on is Black Myth Wukong. This game arrived with a bang, and has sold an astounding 18 million copies already, and it's still averaging 27 hours of gameplay each, so people are obviously enjoying the game. I'm personally not really a fan of the grinding Dark Souls type games usually. However, with how this game looks and what I've seen of the storyline, I might just give this game a go. So with an action RPG like this, we're going to want it to look good. So at 1080p, I'm first going to set the graphics quality to high and see exactly what kind of FPS this PC can punch out and how it looks. We're averaging a very steady 100 frames per second. These settings with this performance is pretty much the Goldilocks zone. We've got enough frames where there's no lag or stutter, but we're also still at high settings, so this game with its monster graphics still looks as it should. Now I can jump across to cinematic settings. This is the maximum graphics quality for Black Myth Wukong. This PC is playable at this level, but there is the occasional stutter, which can be irritating in a fight scene. However, it looks great, and this PC is still averaging about 50 FPS. Now to see what kind of FPS this PC can max on this game, I've brought the settings down to low. Even at this quality, this game still looks good. And after cinematic settings, it feels incredibly smooth, and we're averaging around 160 frames per second. The second game we're going to jump into is Fortnite. We're first going to run this at performance settings at 1080p. First of all, gameplay is smooth, reactive, and crisp. Everything you'd expect at performance settings. And we're averaging pretty steadily at 300 FPS. Alright, turning up the graphics quality, I'm jumping into high settings. As expected, there's a drop in FPS, but we're still averaging about 100 frames per second, and the game looks great while still being smooth. Now I can switch across to Call of Duty. Specifically, I'm going to run this PC through Warzone. Warzone is a bit more graphically intensive than multiplayer or regular Modern Warfare 3, so expect similar performance but a bit more FPS if you're playing those instead. We're playing at ultra quality, and this PC is performing honestly better than I expected. Even at this high graphics level, we're averaging around 120 FPS, and I'm experiencing no lag or stutter. So even though I stink at this game, I'm able to play somewhat decently.
Overall at 1080p, we saw some really good frame rates here. You could pair this PC with an 144Hz monitor if you were playing at high quality graphic presets. Or if you were playing at lower quality graphic presets, a 240Hz monitor would be a really good match. Across this spectrum of games, the RX 6600 actually stayed well below 70 degrees, even when I put the glass side panel on. I have it off just to minimize reflection glare during the video. But I mean, for 1050 AUD, I really don't think you can do much better than this PC here, especially considering it has all new parts, 3 years warranty, and free shipping. And for a limited time only, we've got same day shipping with this PC, so the day you order is the same day that this PC gets sent out to you.